Hello and welcome. You've tuned into Business Lunch. I'm Nisha Podar and with me today is Sonal Bothra. Sonal, good afternoon. Markets and good health. In fact, pink of health as you are really resonating. So Sensex as well as Nifty over 1% up in trade right now. Mid-caps not doing that badly. Playing a catch-up game with the key indices today. And the Bank Nifty, as we have been mentioning, is the one which is taking the lead, the financials really taking the lead as far as the gains are concerned. Advanced decline ratio towards the advancing side, so it's a healthy setup. Bajaj Finserv, Reliance, HDFC Bank, these are some of the big performers today. Now let's start with some great news for all the motorheads then, and Royal Enfield has finally launched the much-awaited Meteor 350. And as the competition in the two-wheeler market really continues to expand, Siddharth Lal, the CEO of Eicher Motors, says that they welcome competition in the middleweight segment. In a conversation with Parikshit Luthra of CNBC TV 18, he also adds that Meteor is an all-new product platform from the Royal Enfield stable and comes with a digital navigation device, and adds that the company will prioritize sales in Western markets, Japan and South Korea. Take a look.
We're absolutely delighted to be launching this new motorcycle, the Meteor 350. It's been 4 years plus in the making. We've done hundreds, lakhs and lakhs of kilometers of test riding, including myself. We've done lots of riding for the last 18 months on full production motorcycles. So it's really, it's a full new development cycle. We've taken all the learnings, all the rides that we've done on our cruisers from the 90s onwards. We had the City Bike, we had the Lightning 535, we had the Thunderbird. And Thunderbird's been the #1 cruiser in India for nearly 2 decades. Taken all that learning and we've put what we believe and what we've understood from our consumers, the best foot forward, the best package in terms of a really refined highway motorcycle.
The Meteor is coming at a very interesting time. It's a time when different automobile players are competing for the middleweight segment. Royal Enfield has been the mass market leader when it comes to the middleweight segment with an over 90% market share. We've seen a tie-up between Hero and Harley. Honda has come out with a 350cc motorcycle as well. So do you feel that this is the segment where we are going to see competition, stiff competition going forward?
For sure. This is what you talked about is the latest, competitors sort of coming in. There have been many others over the last 5-7 years that have been knocking at our doors, trying to enter this segment. And all the best to them. I mean, we're not going to give them a platter to come on. We're working very hard to continue our success. But the way we look at it is more the merrier in one way, because we think that'll expand the segment. And when a segment expands, the current segment of 250cc plus is only maybe 6-7% of the overall market. If it becomes 20% of the market, and the market continues to grow, what's currently a segment of 1 million motorcycles can become a segment of 3 million, 5 million motorcycles. And if we are, instead of 95% or 90% market that we're today, maybe we'll be 80% market in some time. But 80% market of 3 million is brilliant. We'd be delighted with that. So It's okay that other people are entering. Currently, no one else has been able to really make headway because a lot of them, either they're imitating Royal Enfield, which I think consumers understand is a bit of a, consumers also look at it like, do I want an imitation or do I want the real thing, right? We've really worked on making our entire offering of a totally different level. So we have an outstanding distribution network, 2,000 premium retail points in India. And of course, we'll talk about overseas next. We've got, and these are premium points, right? People get in, they understand. Our service is premium, our after sales, everything, the rides, community angle. Our residual value of a motorcycle is extremely high. So we've got a lot of barriers
Okay.
to entry, and we think we can continue to grow the market without losing much share.
Any key markets that you would like to focus on? Would you prioritize? This is a tough time for the auto industry. We're just emerging out of the COVID-19 pandemic. There will be more uncertainty going forward. So any markets there where you would like to consolidate and grow further in terms of assembly, in terms of touch points, sales touch points?
Yeah, great question, Parikshit, because what we're seeing is that there is a lot of move to personal transportation around the world now, right? People are just a bit more wary of public transportation for the time being because of COVID. So the easier markets, I would say easier is the wrong word, but the markets with higher spending power are Western markets, right? So, or richer countries. So you can say Europe, US, Australia, Japan, New Zealand, South Korea, where we're doing well as well. So these are markets where we're in a very sweet spot. Our long-term interest in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years is all in developing markets because we think they can be India-like, where people from commuter bikes of 100, 150cc can go up to 350, 500, 650cc. And that's in markets like Brazil, Argentina, Mexico on the one hand, Colombia, and on the other hand, Thailand, Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia, where we're also doing well. But these are markets that we're developing for the very long term.
All right, that's the word coming in from Eicher Motors. But earnings, they are coming in thick and fast. And Voltas reported numbers just a while ago. Numbers look really strong, a beat on all parameters. Mangnam Malu joins in with a quick review. Mangnam, over to you.
Well, it's a good set of numbers coming in from Voltas. The reason why the stock perhaps is not surging is because it was already at a record high ahead of numbers, but still holding on. The revenue growth is coming at 12%. The street was working with a number close around that 1,300 crores. The company's reported revenues of almost 1,600 odd crores. And as a result of which the EBITDA growth has flown as well. In fact, the street was working with an EBITDA decline of almost 35 odd percent. This time around, the company's EBITDA has just declined around 7 odd percent. The net profit, it's coming at close to around 79.7 crores or close to 80 odd crores. The street was working with a number of around 65 odd crores. So across all the frontline reported numbers, it is a big beat. The reason why the net profit hasn't grown as much is because the other income has come in at 32 crores. This compares with a number of 72 crores. 36 crores versus 72 crores. But, there are really no complaints. Over and above all of that, the unitary cooling products, ACs that you and I use, have seen a growth of almost 9%. The street was bracing itself for a number of around 4 to 5%. So that's telling you that pent-up demand is really strong. And over and above that, Voltas's brand recall has also helped them because the company's gained market share. As of August, the market share stands at 26.8%. So it's about 30-40 basis points that the company's gained in terms of market share. That's a big positive. The other thing is that the enterprise business out here, the street was bracing itself for a bit of a decline. But there too, we've seen a revenue growth of 15%. Of course, the EBIT has seen a decline of almost 59 odd percent. But then sequentially, it has improved from a loss of 40 crores to 22 crores. So that's good going out there as well. Good recovery in the enterprise business, and the engineering business, which is a small vertical for the company, has shown mid-teens sort of growth as well. So across the board, good numbers coming in. The reason why the stock is not surging is because it's already surged 70% from the lows that we saw all the way back in March.
All right. Thanks so much, Mangalam, for the first cut and the analysis on the numbers of Voltas. But it could be a day of good numbers because MRF is flashing on our screens at the moment. The stock has gone up. The street likes these numbers because both on EBITDA as well as net profit, there is a clear beat that is really coming out. Let's take it straight across to Sonia Shenoy, who's joining us on the analysis of these numbers in the first cut. Big operational beat in the second quarter for MRF, Sonia.
Oh, absolutely. So, on the top line, the numbers are largely in line with estimates. It's a 5.9% growth that we've seen on a year-on-year basis, coming in at 4,240 crores. The big beat has come in the operational performance. So, the EBITDA has gone up 56% year-on-year. The margins are up 650 basis points. But we must remember that this was a quarter when both oil prices as well as rubber prices had a steep fall. However, most tyre makers have already indicated that these margins may not be sustainable in the second half of the year. On the profits as well, it's an 80% jump up that we've seen. Now, the reason for a good performance is because 70% of MRF's revenues comes from the replacement market. And this time, because of the COVID situation, we have seen more people replace their truck and passenger vehicle tyres rather than buy new ones. and that's where the demand up move has come through. But I just want to point out that the stock has run up quite a bit. It's up 35 to 40% in the last 3 months. It also ran up in anticipation of good numbers because we had the entire pack like JK Tyre, CEAT, Apollo report good numbers. So the run up has been quite steep. And the other thing is, on a valuation parameter, if you look at it, MRF is not cheap. In fact, it's trading at a premium to its peers compared to, CEAT as well as Apollo Tyres. MRF is trading at somewhere around 19.5 times forward, while CEAT trades at 14.5 times and Apollo trades at 12.5 times. Having said that, this stock could run up further in the near term because the numbers are good, the operational performance is strong, and demand has just started to pick up, especially for players in the commercial vehicle segment, of which MRF, has a huge clientele. Back to you.
All right, Sonia, thanks a lot for that detailed analysis. Numbers for MRF look really good. The stock is up around 0.8%. And as Sonia was pointing out, there has been a steep run-up in the stock price already. But market's also in a fine fettle. It's at the day's high, 126 points on Nifty, contributed by HDFC Bank and Reliance Industries, around 90 points coming in from there. But it's time to take a short break. But before we do that, here's something that you, our viewers, must take note of. CNBC TV 18 and National Stock Exchange have come together to promote investor awareness through a special campaign, Informed Investor, that empowers you to make the right decisions with your money. Well, just the way we examine our child's report card before signing, an investor must read all investment-related documents carefully. Remember, an informed investor is one who signs only after reading the documents and ensures that he is better safe than sorry.